The mask of charm. Geminis don't manipulate people the way most zodiac signs do. They don't usually control through fear. They control through connection, through attention, through emotion, and sometimes through charm so powerful that people never realize they're being emotionally studied until it's already too late. Because the most dangerous manipulators rarely look dangerous at all. They look interesting. They look intelligent. They look unforgettable. And that's exactly why Gemini becomes so difficult to resist. Why people trust Gemini quickly. Gemini has a natural ability most people can't explain. They know how to make people feel seen, special, interesting. They adapt quickly to personalities. They observe how people speak, how they react, what makes them insecure, what makes them feel important. Then somehow, Gemini becomes exactly the kind of energy those people feel comfortable around. Not always intentionally. Sometimes it's instinct. But that adaptability is exactly what makes them emotionally persuasive. The power of conversation. Gemini's greatest weapon isn't anger. It's communication. They know how to talk people into emotional vulnerability, how to ask the right questions, how to create emotional chemistry quickly, how to make people reveal things they normally never discuss. And because Geminis are naturally curious, people often mistake emotional investigation for emotional intimacy. That's the dangerous part. Gemini can learn everything about someone emotionally, while revealing almost nothing about themselves in return. The double personality effect. People always talk about Gemini having two personalities, but the deeper truth is more complicated. Gemini adapts emotionally to environments so quickly that different people often experience completely different versions of them. One person sees warmth, another sees distance, another sees chaos, another sees emotional intelligence. That inconsistency creates confusion, and emotional confusion creates attachment, because people become obsessed with trying to understand which version of Gemini is actually real. How Gemini uses humor. Gemini rarely manipulates through direct emotional pressure. Instead, they use charm, humor, energy, excitement. They know how to lighten tension instantly, how to avoid accountability through jokes, how to distract emotionally wounded people with conversation. And because Geminis are entertaining by nature, people often forgive behavior they normally wouldn't tolerate from anyone else. That charm becomes emotional camouflage. Why people become addicted to Gemini. Gemini creates emotional unpredictability, and unpredictability creates obsession. One moment they're deeply attentive, the next moment emotionally distant. One day they feel fully invested, the next day impossible to read. That inconsistency activates emotional chasing. People start craving Gemini's attention because they never fully know when they'll receive it again. And emotionally inconsistent affection can become psychologically addictive. The difference between good and dark Geminis. Not every Gemini manipulates maliciously. Mature Geminis use communication to inspire people, to connect, to heal emotionally. But emotionally immature Geminis? They may use intelligence to control reactions, charm to avoid consequences, and emotional inconsistency to maintain power inside relationships. The same gifts that make Gemini magnetic can also make them emotionally dangerous when used carelessly. Ending of Episode 1. The terrifying thing about Gemini manipulation is that most people enjoy it while it's happening, because Gemini doesn't always pull people in through force. Sometimes they pull people in through fascination. And fascination is one of the hardest emotional traps to escape.